All right, let's do this thing. Black Isle Studios, God bless them. One of the strongest influences on me as a creator, storyteller guy. Wizards of the Coast, official license project. I hope I can license stuff from them someday. Play Icewind Dale for ya. Yeah.
They say that history is the greatest of all teachers.
Never actually seen this intro video. Never watched it.
And what we shall be in the future. It is said that such tales shall, with each telling, illuminate us all with the light of truth.
That's David Ogden Steers as our narrator today.
Of such a tale. It is a tale quite familiar to me, for I have spent nearly a lifetime piecing it together and chronicling it here within this book.
He passed away recently. He was best known for MASH and for being a popular Disney voice of the 90s and early 2000s.
To memory. Perhaps now, in the telling of it, I shall at last find the answers I seek.
And yes, I'm going to do that every time there's a voice actor, but that's not very often.
In the northern region of Faerun, known as Icewind Dale. It is a harsh, frozen land, cut off from the rest of the world by a wall of jagged peaks called the Spine of the World. For centuries, the icy plains of the Dale have been home to the barbarian peoples of the Uthgard and Regedmund.
Love a good barbarian story.
In small, closely knit tribes, the barbarians lived simple lives, free, proud, and fiercely independent.
Of chaotic alignment, in other words.
Until the day an archmage named Ericon came to Icewind Dale. With an army of mercenaries, Ericon sought to conquer the north and force the fierce barbarians into slavery.
Ooh.
Long weeks of battle followed, and the scattered barbarian tribes suffered terrible losses. Defeat seemed inevitable. In their darkest hour, a barbarian shaman named Jared came forth and demanded a council between all the remaining tribes of the north.
I'm gonna be honest, I've never actually finished this game.
Jared persuaded the council to put aside their differences.
I have no idea what this story has to do with the story of the game. I've gotten pretty far, I would like to think.
The barbarians rallied behind their new leader. The combined might of the Northmen proved more than a match for Ericon, who had counted on the division of the tribes. Wave after wave of barbarian warriors tore into Ericon's hired army, forcing them on the defensive and ultimately
it's very Frank Frazetta, these illustrations. That's of course a story about barbarians would just about have to be.
Ericon had time for one last desperate act before his enemies descended upon him. Drawing upon his remaining power, the Archmage breached the planar boundaries, tearing open a portal to the lower planes.
Lower planes is a weirdly scientific way of saying hells, considering this is a fantasy story.
As the hideous and twisted shapes of demonkind materialized from the portal and poured onto the battlefield. The sudden appearance of the demons drove the combatants, barbarian and mercenary alike, to turn to meet the new threat side by side.
Yeah, good luck with that.
The remaining warriors bravely charged the portal to drive the hellspawn back, and were slaughtered by the hundreds.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
As his people fell around him, the barbarian shaman Jared looked up from the blood-drenched snow of the battlefield and caught sight of a lone figure high upon a ridge in the distance.
Batman?
Jared immediately recognized this vision as an omen from his god, Tempus.
Tempus!
And in that instant,
sorry. Reflex.
What had to be done.
That's what they yell into battle. They just yell the god's name. Tempus or Moradin!
The ranks of the demons and plunged into the portal. As Jared's blood fused with the energies of the portal, an explosion of white light engulfed the battlefield. When the light subsided, the demons were gone, and the portal was closed. In its place hovered a disk of solid stone. Frozen within the center of the disk was Jared's body, locked in his final moment of agony, in his final moment of triumph. for all eternity.
Badass.
That is not the end of our tale. It is but the beginning.
I was about to ask. Yeah, like I said, I have no idea what that story had to do with the plot of this game. I thought I knew the plot, but apparently I don't. Apparently that background, really better come into play, or else what's the point of that? Alright, gonna play some Icewind Dale for you. One of the 5 games created with the BioWare Infinity engine, a 2D 2nd edition Dungeons & Dragons system. And, so unlike Baldur's Gate or Torment, the Icewind Dale games aren't really focused on the plot or the story so much as just the dungeon crawling, and so you create all 6 characters in your party. That can get a little boring, so it helps to give them a bit of a theme, and in my case, the theme I gave is that my party is the gaming miniatures who star in the popular webcomic Irregular Webcomic. Easy enough to create a custom portrait based on the miniature. Ta-da. Not only custom portraits, but I also got my theater friends to record custom sound sets as well.
Old hobbits die hard. Don't stand so close to me. So, we meet at last. Whoever you are. It's just sick. Sick, I tell you. Stick 'em up, muchachos.
Lambert, voiced by Drew Quintero, who is the volunteer coordinator at the local theater. And so he's a jolly old halfling, a hobbit in the comic, and in the comic he seems to be just a merchant with no particular combat abilities, but I made him a cleric because this party needs a cleric. And so a cleric is there the healing guy, and they also do some pretty good protecting, fighting. So yeah. And I wanted to make him a cleric thief to, demonstrate, some multi-class characters, but apparently halflings can't be cleric thieves because this is 2nd edition and it's just so frickin' deliciously arbitrary. But, I mean, it's probably for the better because we could have used a pure cleric. Accept. Now we have Alvissa, our elf bard. Elves can't actually be bards in 2nd edition because, 2nd edition, so deliciously arbitrary. But, so in character generation, I made her a half-elf bard, and then I used a simple editor, Dale Keeper, to make her an illegal elf bard, while also changing her appearance because I don't like the way that bards wear hoods in this game.
I have you right where I want you. Who challenges Alvissa of the House of Endithil? I'm an elf, you little twerp. Candy is dandy, but ichor is quicker. Have at you, scoundrel.
Alvissa is voiced by Jen Shackleton, who makes billboards and posters and stuff. I've been in a play with her. She's very good. Next we have Mordekai, who is our thief, or as he'd tell you, the lovable rogue. Thief is very important. They're okay in a fight, but most important is their skills, finding traps, opening locks. It's very important. Without those skills, you will die in every dungeon. Do you hear me? Die. Okay, Mordekai. Lovable rogue. There's some green. Mordekai.
I'll stay in the back. Combat positions, everyone. You will suffer me. Well, finally. After you.
Mordekai is voiced by Sidney Shackleton, who I've been in 2 plays with. He is Jen's husband. He's our 911 dispatch guy. I don't need to tell you what they do for a living. I forgot to explain. Bards, for those who don't know, a bard is kind of a mix of the three main class. They have some fighting abilities, some mage spells, some thief skills. Later editions, they even add in some cleric by giving them healing powers. So they're kind of the jack of all trades, master of none, and their one unique thing is that they just stand there singing, and that provides bonuses. I've never actually used that. Wonder if it's any good. We have Kyros, who is our mage. Just a regular mage, not a specialist or anything. You know, I thought about making him a specialist, but well, I'll get to that in a moment.
Step aside, let the wizard handle this. You shall not parse. Want to make something of it? Who, in the darkness of their own hearts, is truly innocent? Of course you can fight fire with fire. You can fight everything with fire.
Kyros is voiced by Michael D. Perkins, who is the official TV and radio voice of our local theater. So that's pretty cool. It's kind of a job he got this year. And so, yeah. Mage, for those who don't know, mage, they cast the big, heavy-hitting, powerful magics. And there are 8 schools of magic, and you can choose to specialize in one of them, which gives you more spells per day than an ordinary mage, but it also completely bars you from your school of magic's arbitrary opposition school. You cannot learn spells from the opposition school, and I was just nervous about blocking Kyros from any particular branch of study, because partly because Icewind Dale uses a different opposition school system than normal 2nd edition. Probably because I wanted him to have every spell available to him, just in case, so I just made him a regular mage instead of a specialist. We have Draak, our lizard man barbarian. As you might imagine, you can't actually be a lizard man barbarian in this game, so I just made him a dwarf fighter, and yeah, and then use Dale Keeper to make him look like a lizard man for as long as I'm willing to have a party member who's bigger and slower and noisier than all the rest. We'll just see how long that lasts. And let's see. Draak.
Draak fight. Draak kill you in cold blood. Ha ha. Draak take your soul. Let slip the frog of war.
Let's see, what dim-witted thug did I get to play Draak? Alright, it was me. It was me. I was Draak. That was a lot of fun. Hurt my throat, but it was fun. Finally, we have Dwalin, who is our dwarf Yakin. I made him a fighter cleric because I wanted at least one multi-class character, and, couldn't hurt to have another healing guy who's a little bit better in a fight than a normal healing guy. So Dwalin the dwarf. Dwalin.
Stand firm, laddies. Onward in the name of King Dwalin. Come back, ye cowards. What are you afraid of? I'll have your head. You're mine.
Dwalin is voiced by Aaron Joseph Schmitt, who we have to thank for this project ever getting off the ground in the first place, because we recorded these sound sets in the little recording booth he set up in his own house, so that was cool. This I'm just recording in my home. I do hope the mic's not picking up all the cicadas I can hear right now. So there we go. There's our party. And let's begin the story, shall we?
Our tale begins here, in the quiet fishing village of Easthaven, one of the so-called 10 towns of Icewind Dale. The tiny community is hardly a town, but rather a collection of ramshackle huts crowded together upon the icy shores of Lackdinashire. Here, within a dimly lit tavern, a group of travelers sit huddled around a table, swapping tales and making grand plans for the future, completely unaware of the part they are to play in the events that are about to unfold.
What's this? New face in town, eh? Well met, stranger. The name is Hrothgar, originally of Hillsfar. But now, after years of traveling up, down, and under Faerun, I am content to call this town my home. Who might you be?
Hrothgar is voiced by Jim Cummings, who you might remember from, your childhood. He's recently gave an acclaimed performance in Christopher Robin, playing Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, as usual. And so, yeah, he's in this game. This is one of the Infinity Engine games are one of the earliest video games to really employ voice acting, and they just went totally all-star with it. Okay. Greetings, Hrothgar. My name is Lambert.
Well then, welcome to Easthaven. Whatever your business in these parts might be, I would offer you this small piece of advice. While you're in my town, you do well to be on your best behavior. These folk are under my protection, and anyone who would seek to do harm to them in any way shall answer to me. That said, I'll let you get back to your cups. I'm sure you've had a long journey, and you'll find there's no better way to shake off the cold of the road than by downing a few mugs of Grisella's best. And if you're in need of lodging, I would recommend talking to Quimby over at the Snowdrift Inn over on the east side of town. Equipment and supplies can be purchased next door, at Pomab's Emporium. Pomab's prices are a bit high, even for a Kalashite, but you'd be better off well-equipped and short of coin than the other way around. Ill-prepared travelers don't last long in these parts. Once you've had a chance to rest up and get your bearings, come by and see me at my house. It's just a couple doors west of here. There's some business I would discuss with you. Farewell.
Farewell. All right, so, was good?
Brilliant plan. Can't fail.
Now, as you may have noticed, every line Hrothgar had was fully voice acted. That's how it goes in the Icewind Dale games. Either a character is voice acted and every single line they have is voiced, or they're not. And so this is going to be a Let's Play with a full cast. I'm going to be silent while I'm reading the dialogue, and later all my friends and I are going to dub in the dialogue. We're going to do our own voice acting for the game. A Let's Play with a full cast, I call it. So hopefully that'll be fun and interesting. And let's get this started soon. Save up. Haven't gotten to that multiplayer game in ages. Irregular Webcomic. Alright, I will be back with the next video.